Okay, so now I need to make a notch in the corner of this tile to fit around the door casing as the room transitions from the main area of the master bathroom into the water closet. Since my tiles are 12 by 24, I'm going to have to use the tile saw along with the angle grinder to complete this cut. As you can see, it's definitely not the prettiest cut, and there's a bit of chipping out on the underside, but most of this is, well, all of this is going to get covered up by the door casing anyways. So let's switch tools now, flip this tile over, and finish our cut. The next tile I need to cut is for the toilet flange. I'm absolutely doing this outside because it is going to be a total mess. I'm going to be cutting out this hole exclusively with my angle grinder. I have a turbo blade for cutting tile on my angle grinder, and basically the process is I'm going to cut out an octagon, and then I'm going to use the diameter of the blade to just to smooth out the transitions between the points and the material left behind. I have all the tile installed, and unfortunately there are a few areas I didn't clean the thinset quite as well as I should have while I was laying the tile, so I'm having to go back and scrape up a handful of places. So there are a couple of tools that I'm using here to get the job done. One thing that I'm doing before I even get started is I'm spraying down the area with a little bit of water now. If I do miss the area a little bit while I'm working, it helps to break the mortar free. So I have a small screwdriver, flathead, that I'm using to scrape and break up sections. I've been using a 5-in-1 tool. This works all right. Another tool, this is actually used for carpet removal or cutting linoleum. What I've been doing is I actually kind of have it presented to the thinset like this, and I just pull along, and it breaks out the thinset pretty well. Now these last two, just a regular box cutter and a straight blade, razor blade, these work great to work the mortar out from between the tiles. So here's what I do. I first take and I spray a little water on that area. What I found that works best is I just use this hook tool that I showed you a little while ago, and I will just angle it on the tile and pull right back, and you see that little piece of thinset is now gone. And then also I do the same thing for the other side. Another way that I can use this tool though is I can take the blade and just set it against the side of the tile, and I can push forward and just work the thinset like that. Generally I do that only if it's a bigger, kind of blob, if you will. But honestly, setting this the inside of this blade against the side of the tool and just deliberately pulling the tool back towards me, that seems to get with the program pretty well. The way that I use the straight blade is I kind of set it in at an angle, and then I rock the blade down. So I'll set it in at an angle and then just pivot the blade down, and that seems to work pretty well also. And the last one I want to show is just a regular old box cutter, and you can probably figure this out on your own. But here again, I'll take the blade and I'll this is exaggerated, but I'll angle the blade and set it on the side of the tile and just pull back, and you can see that it's pretty efficient at pulling out that mortar. So I have an old toothbrush, and this is not the one I use for my teeth, so no comments please. But I will I'll just use this to kind of clean up the area so I can see what I'm left with to keep working on. Depending on how big the blob of mortar is, I choose anything from a more aggressive tool like this to a bit more refined tool like one of the razor blades. So that's a little tip of how to remove the excess mortar in between the tiles. I know that they have the carbide scrapers that you can buy at Home Depot or Lowe's, and that's all fine and good, but that tool is triangle shaped, and really you want to be able to remove the mortar against the walls of the tile, so that way you get a good fill of your grout when you go back and start grouting.